Good morning, beloved and adorable earth angels. Today we're going to work on a difficult practice, or perhaps receive some help within your difficulties. The theme of of this month is awakening, and the practice of today is getting and accessing angelic help within our spiritual trials. So any difficulty, any unwanted circumstance, you can label or self-identify as a spiritual trial. And with that comes both a little more difficulty and perhaps some aid, but there's technique involved. If you're within a spiritual trial, you're trying to evolve, you're trying to be better. And let me see if I can get this quote straight. Figuring out a spiritual trial is easy. You only have to do the previously impossible. And so, we're going to start with the awakening. Without further definition, we're going to jump right into what do you do if you're in a difficult circumstance, an unwanted circumstance that has risen to the level of a spiritual trial. So the first thing is you recognize it. You wake up and you say, this has spiritual opportunity for me to hone myself, for me to evolve, for me to learn new skills or to practice skills that I'm developing. And then when you align with that, you activate your free will. How do I get this right? You activate your curiosity, you activate your courage, you get into your heart, and you let go of some of the things that block or impede the progress within the spiritual trial. If it's a razor's edge spiritual trial, meaning it's kicking your butt or it seems to be impossible or very difficult, it means you have to line up in a certain way where you don't really have room for excuses, you don't really have room for avoidance. You have to show up in the best way possible in order to succeed. And the third, of course, is to talk to your angels or access grace. Often when I'm in a spiritual trial, if I do the first two steps, then the third step is who's helping me. And so we've pre-drawn some angels. They've been chatty about this, and we will get to them in the moment. And so let me repeat, if you're in a difficult circumstance, whether it be mourning, bereavement, whether it be a transition, shifting a job, ending or starting a relationship, whether it be forgiveness or releasing trauma, any of the things that are part of the healing, growth, and expansion that is part of our purpose here on this planet can rise to the level of a spiritual trial if it's difficult. So, once again, the three things: you wake up, you align your free will, and you access grace. So within that, the first angel that was chatty, the second angel, I should say, that was chatty about this was Archangel Michael. In some trials, you need protection. And we're not going to go too deeply into how Archangel Michael protects. We are going to talk a little bit about soul expansion. Michael watches over the expansion of your soul light until you have purified yourself of karma and limitations. Each time you use opportunities to transform unwanted events, you destroy more of your false ego or small self. Michael lives for the day when you step free as your eternal self. His goal is the salvation of all of us to once more become a loving community. So right there, as I read that, I can feel the shift, either for some of you or just within myself, this shift that goes from this is something very unpleasant, very difficult, to, there's a little bit of transmutation possible. There's a little bit of, if you want to call it alchemy, you certainly can. But there is a spiritual tool here that I can take advantage of. The next is, believe it or not, we're moving on to forgiveness. And this is for certain versions of spiritual trials or for patterned spiritual trials. Your body holds the feeling memory of traumatic events, just as your mind records the images of events. The cells that hold these things are like boxes. You have to open them and feel what is inside to release the experience. Until you have the courage and desire to do this, the trapped emotional essence will recreate the pattern by magnetically attracting new people and new circumstances with a similar essence. This may seem cruel, but is actually a gift from God to draw your attention to everything that separates you from love, as these behavior patterns do. Once you have deeply felt and released a trauma, also let the memory go. Forgive and you'll be set free. Welcome new situations as guidance and ask Stamera to help you clearly see and understand these opportunities. And so there's something about the pattern in there. If you are in a spiritual trial, a circumstance that feels repetitive, then you're looking for the new response. You're looking to, one of my favorite practices over the last 6 months has been just the simple question, the prayer and the intention, may I get this right? May I figure this out? May I find my best response? When forgiveness is complete, you will feel serene, kind, happy, and loved. Your life will change to reflect your healing, ceasing the endless repetition of the same old patterns and freeing you to pursue your divine plan. So there are benefits to going through these spiritual trials. If you have gone through many, then call up some gratitude for the free will, the grace, the technique, the skill that you exhibited, and also just some great gratitude for the entire process, because it is difficult. We really wouldn't wish some of these on our worst enemies, but our higher self contracts and sends us through them. So there is value and benefit, and for that I would invite you to be grateful for. So the last little piece here today is we're going to work a little bit with, just very quickly, if you're in a spiritual trial, one of the biggest pitfalls you can have is trying to avoid it. Either avoiding labeling it as a spiritual trial, or just ignoring it, or burying your head in the sand and hoping that it'll go away, or hoping that the same old tools and tricks will change it. And so forgiveness is actually another way of saying radical acceptance, or it requires some radical acceptance in order for you to forgive. And Stamera, the angel of forgiveness, she's also part of the forgiveness muscle that we have to work on, is the ability to let things go. And so if we let go of whatever attachments are blocking our highest and best response, that is an excellent portion of the forgiveness cycle. So if you are suffering, if you are hurting, I'm holding space and I'm sending you love and light, and I am keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. And may you find what heals you, may you find your right responses, and may you access your grace. Peace.